going on, everyone? JohnMatrix here. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day wherever you're at, whenever you're watching this. We're going to be jumping in with part 2 today of True Size of a Space Marine chapter. We're going to follow this up from the previous entry where we got to look at the first 6 tiers, chapters, regiments, whatever you want to call them, of the Ultramarines. And now we're getting into the top 5, which are like the battle regiments. The previous 6 were kind of the reserve regiments, and I guess kind of like the training regiments, you could say. The National Guard, maybe. I don't know if that's kind of a proper comparison or not, but yeah, they're kind of the reserve regiments and the regiments that Space Marines go through, I guess earlier, at least in the Ultramarines, for them to kind of get trained in the various things before they get into the actual battle regiments, which are the experienced veterans that get sent out to the front lines regularly. So I think that's what we're going to be getting in here today, to see what the battle regiments are, how they're filled out, who leads them, etc. So looking forward to getting into this. Links will be down below in the description to the original video and to Invictus channel. So please do me a favor, if you enjoy this video as we go through it, be sure to go over there and give it a like, and check out all the content on Invictus channel. And if you enjoy it, be sure to hit that sub button. You know, check out their membership benefits and whatnot they have on their channel, if they got a Patreon, all that kind of stuff. If you want to take your sport to the next level. If you'd like to join us as I do these reactions live, there is a join button underneath the video, as well as a link in the description to the YouTube membership benefits and tiers that I offer. If you've been around the channel for a while and you would like to take your sport to the next level, you can check all that stuff out, see if it would have any interest for you. Regardless, I just appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy day to come and hang out and watch the video. So thank you very much. You know, if you enjoy the video with my commentary and reaction, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and the channel grow. So with all that said, shameless plugs done, etc., etc., let's jump into this here video.
In part 1 of this series, we covered the junior half of a Codex compliant Space Marine chapter.
Indeed.
From the period of the 41st millennium. Now we shall advance our studies to their veteran battle brothers, who make up the senior elements of the 5th through 1st companies.
I really like how these videos are done too. It feels very much kind of like a History Channel or Discovery Channel kind of, you know, documentary. You know, it feels like this could be like a World War II documentary on how the United States Army or German Army or, you know, whatever army kind of had their regiment set up. But, you know, it's done here now in a 40K Space Marine, you know, setting. So I really like how they've done this. So anyway, let's continue.
In doing so, we will gain a better appreciation for their true capabilities in war. From the ability of a single Marine to bolster the morale of a faltering colonial defense force, to the ability of a well-equipped strike force to eliminate threats across the galaxy.
Yeah, very much so.
Or to join with larger Imperial forces for full-on campaigns. This is the true size of the Ultramarine chapter in action.
Wow, they even like went into like a whole like battle sector fleet maybe here. Jeez.
So I hope you guys are enjoying this content as much as I have been. It turns out the True Size series and 40K is just a match made in heaven. It's got an art production team, super excited.
I'm gonna skip ahead of this. He's gonna get into like sponsors and stuff like that. So if you want to support his channel, please do me a favor. Check out all of his sponsors, all of his links and stuff like that. See if any of that would be interest for you, so you can give the guy some support. Again, check out his memberships, check out anything he's got with Patreon, etc. But we're gonna skip ahead for this video and just get into the reaction.
By the dictates of the Codex Astartes, a Space Marine chapter of the Second Founding is composed of 10 companies, each with roughly 10 squads of 10 Marines, for a total of approximately 1,000 warriors. New recruits wishing to join their ranks must first pass through the 10th Scout Company, where they will be introduced to the basic arsenal and operations of the
getting
Space
a brief
Marines.
summary of
In the
previous
9th,
video.
they master the art of the defense among the Devastator squads, and in the 8th, they master the art of offense among the assault squads. These skills are then brought into balance among the tactical squads of the 7th and 6th Companies. Only having proven themselves will a Marine stand a chance of advancing onto the ranks of the battle companies. Such units typically act as the chapter's primary frontline force, which will be actively deployed among the various war zones of the Imperium. As a result, the battle companies are organized with a mixed force of squads and vehicles to meet the needs of a given campaign, whilst calling upon the reserve companies for replacements or reinforcements as needed. For a better understanding of their role, let's now take a closer look at some examples from the Ultramarine chapter. Here is the assembled might of the 5th Company, the Wardens of the Eastern Fringe, who are led by Captain Cato Galenus. Its makeup is typical of the battle companies, featuring 6 tactical squads, 2 Devastator squads, and 2 assault squads. As their name implies, the Wardens of the Eastern Fringe are among the most far-traveling of their brethren, being deployed for years or decades away from Ultramar on various campaigns. It is on these missions that a Marine will learn to fight alongside a wide variety of Imperial forces and run the gauntlet of mankind's most bitter enemies. In addition to providing crucial training, these distant crusades also serve an important strategic and propagandic role for the chapter. Strategically, the 5th provides an important tool of force projection. Often referred to as the Gladius Strike Force template, their operations will see them break out into smaller groups to parry incoming attacks and deal quick, efficient blows capable of neutralizing foes many times their size. In terms of propaganda, the distant nature of these campaigns also serves to inspire the realms of the Imperium with a reminder that no planet is beyond the reach of the Emperor's angels. Even the presence of a single Marine may be enough to shore up the morale of an entire colonial defense force, as is evidenced by the following record of the Guardsman. Quote, "I have seen a thing today which I knew only from the storybooks of my childhood. Oh, so mighty, and so broad, and so bold, that it might have been a statue on the colonnade of the Emperor come to life. Its armor glowed like the moon, gunmetal bright, and it smelled of sweet oils and sacred lotions. In its fist, 5 times the size of my fist, it clenched a spear twice the length of my body. I think we will live if these gods are with us."
Yeah, it's easy to forget that Space Marines, even in themselves, are considered, almost mythological, legendary, beings, right? They're the angels of the battlefield, the Emperor's angels. It's rare that even normal guardsmen oftentimes see them, even though they are essentially the face of 40K.
In keeping with the strike force nature of the 5th Company, it may bring with it a larger vehicle pool capable of extended deployment, with supporting starships for transportation and orbital strikes. Next comes the 4th Company, known to the Ultramarines as the Defenders of Ultramar. They are led by the recently promoted Captain Uriel Ventress, and are composed of the same squad mix as the 5th Company.
Gotcha.
But whereas their brethren may see active deployment at the far reaches of the galaxy, the Defenders of Ultramar remain embroiled on the front lines closer to home. While the 4th has been known to protect its borders with glorious offensives, many of their forces take the defensive as commanders of auxiliary garrisons, as castellans of major fortifications, and as specialist operators of key military infrastructure. They do so against the endless waves of foes which threaten Macragge and its domains. From tyrannid swarms to orc warbands, heretic cults, and endless horrors from beyond. As such, the 4th Company vehicle pool makes excellent use of mass fire support and heavy armor to pulverize all those who approach their strongholds. Transports and gunships in turn allow these otherwise slow-moving assets to quickly relocate for a dynamic defense.
You know, it would be interesting, right? Like, with, you know, the Amazon whatever cinematic universe that they're making with, you know, the 40K series. I feel like something that would be a unique way of doing it, or that at least would be interesting. Like, if you've seen the HBO series Band of Brothers, which was, you know, follows the 101st Airborne through a lot of their goings on, you know, trying to, like, the missions and things that they did during World War II, up, you know, from the beginning, from their training up to the end. It would be kind of interesting to see something similar in a 40K fashion with a Space Marine chapter, right? Like, seeing a chapter, a group of aspirants, you know, go through the training process and go through the augmentation and gene seeding processes. And obviously there would have to be some time skipping that would happen through a lot of that, to them going through the scout regiments and raising the ranks together, to then being deployed in, you know, some kind of campaign against Tyranids or orcs or various things, and just seeing, you know, the band of Brotherhood develop in a 40K Space Marine setting. I think that would be a pretty interesting way to do a show on, you know, a Space Marine 40K
Thus
setting.
has the heartland of the Ultramarines been preserved for hundreds of years.
Yeah, you know, seeing it as more of like a grounded. They could kind of cut off some more of the mythology and stuff, and yeah, just make it like a grounded, more serious, you know, show that just shows what the life of the Space Marines like, the training process, what's expected of them, actual life during the field and combat, you know, what it's like for a Space Marine to lose brothers, what it's like for new Space Marines to come in and fill, you know, the gaps and replacements, and have them fit in, the various things that Space Marines have to go through in their daily life, and, you know, etc. I think that would be a pretty interesting take on a show, you know.
But while the 5th and 4th Companies may cover battlefields near and far, the 3rd Company focuses on a very specific part of the warfighting spectrum, as is evidenced by their name, the Scourge of the Xenos.
Scourge of the Xenos, huh?
Led by Captain Mikhail Fabian, whose hatred of aliens has reached notorious levels even by Imperial standards. Their squads have gained a special reputation.
When you're known for hating aliens in a setting like this, you must really not like aliens, brother.
For combating the myriad Xenos threats which infest the galaxy.
Like when other Space Marines and like Inquisitors and whatnot are like, hey man, you need to calm down, like, you know, it's serious.
Much of this skill has been honed against the Tyranids dating back to their first brutal conflict with Hive Fleet Behemoth in the First Tyrannic War. As such, the 3rd Company has developed a great expertise in short-ranged firefights, which leverage flamer and melter weaponry in order to purge Xenos hives, fortifications, and space hulks. It should be no surprise.
So they're literally the epitome of just burn it with fire, you know?
Then that many members of the 3rd have been recruited into the dedicated anti-Xenos chapter of the Death Watch. Those who return alive to the Ultramarines are honored with the rank of Tyrannic War Veteran. In terms of vehicles, the 3rd will use a range of craft which have been further specialized to counter a particular alien race. Whether this means more firepower, more armor, or more mobility depends on the situation at hand.
Right.
The last and most prestigious of the chapter's battle companies is the second company. Within the Ultramarines, these Guardians of the Temple are sworn defenders of the holy inner sanctum of their fortress monastery.
Gotcha.
Led by the legendary Captain Cato Sicarius, their squads have gained an impressive reputation for lightning strikes, meant to win the battle.
All the regiments from 5 to 2 all seem to be laid out the same way. 6 tactical squads, 2 devastator squads, and 2 assault squads. So it's like they have 2 defense squads, 2 dedicated defense, 2 dedicated assault, and then 6 squads that, I guess, fill whatever gaps are needed for the current situation
Before an enemy has even had the chance to respond. To the uninformed, their risky battlefield heroics may appear suicidal. But to the astute observer, they display a masterful exploitation of a Space Marine's transhuman physiology and advanced war gear to their fullest. Yet, in this pursuit of this perfection in combat and an unquestionable dedication to the Emperor, their bravado has, on multiple occasions, crossed the line into perceived recklessness and thus drawn censure from Chapter Command. The vehicles used by the second company match their preferred tactics, with an emphasis on mobility and hard-hitting firepower. In such matters, the Thunderhawk makes for an excellent armed transport ship, capable of dropping dozens of Marines and heavy payloads such as tanks or dreadnoughts into the heat of the battle. Now finally, having spent many decades, if not centuries, honing their skills across countless battlefields and distinguishing themselves before their fellow battle brothers, it will be a Marine's ultimate honor to join the vaunted ranks of the First Company. Here, each man stands as a legend in his own right, with a service history easily mistaken for that of an entire unit. Among the Ultramarines, these are the Warriors of Ultramar, led by First Captain Severus Agman. Their composition is made up entirely of veteran squads. Yet, unlike the rest of the chapter's squads, these troops are not limited to specific gear sets. Rather, they are granted access to the entirety of a chapter's armory, including...
I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, if you're literally the best of the best, you're going to have your choice of what armaments and the best gear that you want to have. They're just gonna be like, yeah, take your pick. Just, you know, keep killing things. Keep doing that.
Advanced equipment and relic war gear. Each Marine thus customizes his loadout as he sees fit, resulting in an incredible flexibility of these veteran squads. Nonetheless, we may still group such troops into 3 broad types. The first of these are the Stern Guard veteran squads. Composed of 9 Marines and a sergeant, these are warriors who tend to favor ranged combat. As such, they are generally equipped with the portable bolt gun, whose performance has been significantly upgraded with superior optics and loaded with special issue ammunition, such as the unstable Flux Core Vengeance rounds, capable of penetrating the most heavily armored of targets. Stern Guard veterans also favor various master-crafted combi weapons, which merge the best characteristics of more standard-issue weapons. In contrast, Vanguard veterans are masters of close-quarters combat, who often go into battle wearing jump packs. Their up to 10-man squads may use the bolt pistol and chainsword pairing, favored by their assault squad brethren. However, these veterans often leverage even more deadly power weapons, such as lightning claws, thunder hammers, and relic blades.
As cool as chainswords are, man, I feel like I would just rather have a power sword, you know? Like, I understand in like the 40K setting, it's very difficult for these chainswords to have some kind of like failure. They're you know, bits are made from like this monomolecular weave, you know, material that can literally like cut through everything, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, man. I just feel like Give me essentially what is like the equivalent of a lightsaber, basically. It's a sword that you can like charge up so like it can just cut through anything basically instantly. You don't have to worry about it getting caught on anything, stuck on anything, whatever. Like, I just feel like I'd prefer to have a sword over a chain sword, a power sword over a chain sword anyway. And then like, why not just have some claws on you too? You know, just add it to it. If you could use them while still using a bolt pistol and your melee weapons, why not?
For defense, many will also equip storm shields, capable of withstanding the most brutal.
I mean, like, they're weapons of terror. Like, that's part of the deal with them, you know? Because, I mean, like, if you think about it, if you're on the opposite side of a space marine and you see your best friend next to you getting eviscerated and just his blood and guts splattering everywhere by this chainsword going through him, you're probably going to think twice about trying to engage in combat with the space marine, you know? So, I mean, as much as it is like an interesting, like cool looking tool and something unique, it's also got a practical use of like psychological warfare added to it. But I would just rather have just the regular power sword, man. Yeah, that's just me. I think the power swords in general would be just overall better, you know?
Total of melee and ranged attacks, up to and including direct artillery hits. With such survivability and killing power, there is virtually no stopping such Marines once they have reached your ranks.
Yeah.
The third type of veteran squad is the Terminator
squads.
It's up to 10 squad members are those who have been granted the honor of wearing tactical dreadnought armor, a right reserved for the men of the First Company. Such marvels of Imperial technology turn the wearer into a walking tank capable of effortlessly bringing to bear some of the heaviest weapons of the chapter's arsenal, including assault cannons, cyclone missile launchers, storm bolters, and heavy flamers. In close quarters, chain fists, lightning claws, and various other power weapons may also be used. The incredible durability of Terminator armor not only makes the wearer invulnerable to most incoming firepower, but also allows them to sustain the pressures of teleportation.
I was gonna say, right, like they also then have the ability to literally just teleport behind enemy lines. Like, could you imagine, you know, you're just sitting there and all of a sudden, you know, you hear some noise behind you and like a squad of 10 Terminators just appears and starts eviscerating everyone around you?
Terminators can thus be equipped with personal teleporter packs to execute devastating pinpoint deep strikes.
That's very true.
Altogether, this presents a condensed package of unimaginably deadly potential. The First Company's vehicle pool is also fittingly unique. While all vessels are in theory available to the Veteran Company, they are granted near monopoly on the use of Land Raiders.
Of course.
These super heavy infantry fighting vehicles are capable of transporting large squads of Marines and Terminators while unleashing torrents of firepower from its side-mounted twin-linked las cannons and hull-mounted twin-linked heavy bolters. Taken together, the might of the First Company is a wonder to behold, especially when fighting side by side with the rest of its chapter. Having thus covered the different companies and squad types of a Space Marine chapter, let us now finally turn to how its leadership is structured. Traditionally, a Codex-compliant chapter is led by a chapter master, chosen from the ranks of the company captains. He is protected by an elite honor guard and advised by a council of senior officers and confidants. The current Ultramarines chapter master is Marnius Calgar, whose distinguished service has made him one of the most respected Astartes in the Imperium. Beneath the chapter master, High Command is further divided into 4 categories: the Apothecarian, the Librarius, the Reclusium, the chapter armory, and the Master of the Fleet. Let us now examine each of these in order. The Apothecarian is chiefly responsible for preserving a chapter's vital stocks of gene seed, ensuring the creation
like
of
that's kind
future
of
Space Marines.
like the apothecarian's kind of self-explanatory. Yeah, they're dealing with gene seeds, preserving them, and obviously the overall kind of health of the Space Marines.
The apothecaries, meanwhile, also act as medical experts for the Astartes. The current Ultramarines' chief apothecary is Corpus Helix, a distinguished warrior and medicus known for his supreme patience and attention to detail. The Librarius upholds the chapter's repository of knowledge and is where its battle psychers, thus known as librarians, are trained. The Ultramarines' chief librarian is Varro Tigurius, who has gained high renown for both his impressive psychic abilities and deep wisdom.
Deep wisdom.
The Reclusium is the center of the chapter's cult and spiritual well-being, whose chaplains serve as battle priests that inspire the men with words and actions. The High Chaplain of the Ultramarines is Ortan Cassius, who is famed for his efforts in combating the Tyranids and founding the Society of Tyrannic War Veterans. The chapter armory is responsible for the maintenance of a
Supreme Patience is a world where custodies stands the exactly. How patient are we talking? Right. Yeah, when you have custodies that are like literally like honor guards that stand in one spot and don't move for, like you said, hundreds of years. What kind of patience are we talking about?
Chapter's military equipment. It is here that heavy armor, war suits, and vehicles reside, which will be diligently cared for by skilled tech marines who have been inducted into the cult Mechanicus. The current master of the Forge of
Tech Marines are something I want to learn more about. They are kind of fascinating me because they're a Space Marine faction that also essentially gets inducted to the, like I said, the cult Mechanicus. So they're like bridge the gap between what a Space Marine is and the Mechanicus. And I've not really delved too much into Tech Marines lore, history, how they kind of came to be, what all training stuff they go through, how they're utilized. And I guess he's talking in general about what their main purpose overall is. You know? Yeah, it's an yeah, exactly.
And founding the Society of Tyrannic War Veterans. The chapter armory is responsible for the maintenance of a chapter's military equipment. It is here that heavy armor, war suits, and vehicles reside, which will be diligently cared for by skilled tech marines who have been inducted into the cult Mechanicus. The current master of the Forge of the Ultramarines is Fenius Maxim, known for his unceasing efforts in the Tyrannic Wars, and whose expertise in Astartes weapons and technology has made his name synonymous with the chapter armory. And finally, there is the Master of the Fleet in charge of the chapter's space assets. This admiral will typically be one of the chapter's captains who has been selected by the chapter master to command the flagship and lead the fleet.
Wow.
Uriel Ventris holds this honor for the Ultramarines, bearing the title of Master of the Fleet. Last, but certainly not least, a chapter is supported by the unseen ranks of its mortal servants who tend to the everyday needs of operating and maintaining a Space Marine force. These include the chapter's hereditary slaves, bonded serfs, servitors, astropaths, navigators, and more. However, ascertaining the number of such non-combatants is unfortunately quite difficult given their non-standardized nature. Roughly speaking, a typical Codex-compliant chapter like the Ultramarines may, on average, rely upon several thousand non-Astartes support personnel. If the crew of the chapter's fleet is included, the number can easily rise to the tens of thousands. Once we then account for the wider network of auxiliary forces and other support personnel, our accounting must reach into the hundreds of thousands. But for now, this is where we shall end our review of a typical...
So I assume, like these are servitors, mechanicus, typical guardsmen, etc., that are all kind of auxiliary that support the main, you know, Ultramarine chapters here.
Codex compliant Space Marine chapter of the
Okay.
41st millennium. I hope you found this video both educational and entertaining.
Very
You can
much so.
download all of our art, catch script previews, and participate in polls by joining our Patreon or YouTube membership.
All right. Well, there we go. That was True Size Space Marine Chapter Part 2 3D documentary by Invicta. And yeah, great video. Like I said, it very much has that feel of, you know, a History Channel or Discovery Channel, you know, documentary of like a World War II, you know, army and how it's set up and etc. But done in a 40K setting on the Ultramarines. And so, yeah, it's cool to see the process of going from an aspirant, you know, being recruited, everything that it goes through, and how you climb up through the regiments, from the scout regiments to the reserve battle regiments, how they're filled out, essentially, basically, you know, the training and things they go through, and then getting into the, you know, top 5, really it's the top 4, like the 5th through 2nd regiments are kind of the main battle fleet, battle regiments, with the 1st being the absolute, you know, pinnacle peak veteran regiment where the best of the best are, and they get to pick and choose from the best of the best equipment given to them. I would assume in modern times, quote unquote modern times, right, that like everyone in the 1st probably now has been upgraded to a Primaris Space Marine, because this regiment video, I believe, takes place before the Primaris stuff started happening. So I would assume most of those veterans in the 1st now have been upgraded to Primaris Space Marines, or have at least had the option to undergo that process if needed. And then also they have the new Primaris Dreadnoughts and stuff like that. So yeah, awesome stuff. I would love to see more videos done like this, and I would love to see how some of the other Space Marine chapter factions, whatever you want to call them, have themselves set up. You know, as done, like all the Blood Angels, how do they have their stuff set up? Is it done in a similar fashion? Is it done differently? You know, I would love to just see, like, compare and contrast the different Space Marine factions and how they set up their regiments, how they recruit and train their aspirants, and, you know, how different the process or how similar the process is for recruiting, going through the ranks, what's expected of them, stuff like that. All that stuff is just interesting and fascinating to me. So but yeah, links will be down below in the description, as always, to the original video without my commentary and reaction, and to Invicta's channel. So please do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to go over to the channel, give it a like, check out all of his content. If you enjoy it, hit that sub button on his channel. He's got a Patreon, like I said, members, you know, so if you want to check out and take your support to his channel to the next level, check out his membership benefits, check out his Patreon for all the stuff that he has, check out his sponsor links, etc. If you'd like to join us when I do my reactions live, as I'm doing right now with my YouTube members, there's a join button underneath the video, as well as a link in the description to the membership benefits and tiers that I offer. So take a look at that stuff if you've been around the channel for a while and would like to take your support for my channel to the next level. Regardless, I greatly appreciate you guys. You know, if you're still sitting here watching this video through to the very end, thank you very much. It means a lot. I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch it all the way through. Consider leaving a like and a sub. It helps me and the channel grow, and lets the YouTube algorithm gods know that you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see some more. So yeah, hope you're all having yourselves a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.